Hello, welcome back to that old shop. This is a little project I picked up. I thought it'd be useful around the shop, both in this small shop, my current shop, and potentially a larger shop that we'll be moving to. I picked this up for less than a quarter of what they go for new. You can see it's kind of dirty. It's raised up already. It goes up, it goes down, although kind of slow. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I'm hoping just a little cleanup here will improve its function, be a little quicker in its response, especially with the down. It measures 27 wide, and the forks are 28 long or 28 deep. They would go underneath smaller pallets. I have a large pallet I picked up for free. It looked like it was some kind of machine or equipment sized pallet in pretty good shape, made out of 2x material. I thought I'd cut that in half and make 2 small pallets out of it. That would work on this. And I could use it for smaller items. Maybe I could even, let me wheel you around here. Maybe I could even put a small pallet underneath this air compressor and move that as one piece, not have to dismantle it. Like I said, it's a pallet made out of 2x material, so it's not your typical 1/2-inch material kind of pallet or skid material. Short of that, I don't know what else I would put on the other small little pallet. Maybe I could use this little pallet jack for moving this safe, but it doesn't look like it's got enough clearance underneath it now that I'm looking at it. Oh well, we'll find a use for it. Anyway, we'll get it cleaned up and get a pallet made for it and see about getting that pallet underneath the air compressor. Okay, so what I'm going to clean the pallet jack up with is this Zep degreaser. It's called Fast 505. I think I mentioned it on my last video. And I bought a couple of these sprayers I mentioned on my last video that I put WD. I was using the WD in these sprayers. And this is okay for little stuff. But if I got to spray a big area like that bandsaw that was in my last video that I sprayed up to try to keep it from rusting because it's outside. Oh, this trigger squeezing is too much for my hands. I had some injuries and it's just not a good thing to be doing a lot of repetitive kind of stuff like that. So I thought these pump up sprayers would save me some of that trigger time. I just use this stuff straight, but you can dilute it if you want. It's pretty cheap. It's like, I don't know, $4 or $5 a gallon. The last time I bought it anyway. And the last time I bought it, they actually changed their packaging. So if you go looking for a yellow container, it's actually in a white container now. So I'll wheel you around here and we'll get to cleaning up. Now we'll get into looking at the wheels, and it looks like there's some crud, maybe some rope or string or plastic stuck around the wheels, and we'll check some things out. Okay, so I got it up there in a big jug just to make it easier for me to work so I'm not bending over. Makes it easier to film too for you guys. I'm going to put this cardboard underneath here. So I can do without rolling it off the big Joe. And that's partly to keep my shop floor clean and my big Joe clean. Not have to clean it off. And the other reason would be is my My dogs are in the shop walking around. I don't want all this degreaser falling on them. It'll build up pressure. Jeez. Well, after looking at this, the top of the bottle, this sprayer top is supposed to screw down, and there's a kind of a softer plastic seal that's supposed to seal on the top of this. Well, this is on an angle like this. It's not even flat. How's that supposed to seal on there? We can look at this one I have WD-40 in. That fits on there nicer. Oh yeah, that one's nice and flat. Cheap stuff. Just so you know, this is a Chapin, which is a high volume manufacturer, marketer, seller of different types of sprayers, pump-up sprayers. And this one is way off. I don't know if I should try and trim that down or return this darn thing. You know what? I think I'm going to empty the WD-40 one and put this in there and march on with that sprayer and just return this one. Okay, so I got the WD and the degreaser switched. This defective bottle here, the top of it, like I already mentioned, and this sprayer top is actually kind of deformed as well, so 2 points against it so far. 1 out of 2, that's not very good. So you can see how much better this one sprays. Looking this over off camera, it's actually pretty clean on the inside here, so I don't think this thing is that old or seen that much use. As you can see, it's a Global. Global sells all kinds of, I don't know, shipping and packaging type of products. I tried looking this up on their website. I didn't see it on there. This exact one. I think I saw something remotely similar. It was over $400, so I didn't pay near that amount. Of course, paying for something used, you wouldn't expect to pay anything near that amount. It's the new price. But I've used pallet jacks a lot in the past. I worked in manufacturing for 20 years. And I don't know why these are different colors. If the owner that I bought this from, the seller, painted the forks a different color, or if they come that way. Like I said, I couldn't find the exact thing on Global's website. It's pretty clean in here. I probably should have researched this some more. There's some kind of plastic bulb type of thing. It looks like maybe got a plug in it to put oil in it, I'm guessing. That's probably what it is. I'll bring you closer in a little bit here once I clean it up some more. But it doesn't look like anything's been leaking. Looks like there was some plastic protection around this soft, not really rubber, soft plastic reservoir type thing, and looks like that is broken away. So these are not steel wheels on there, some type of plastic, phenolic, or whatever they are. Some of you may know, but they don't roll real well because they're dirty and have stuff wrapped around the wheels. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit before I start pulling that stuff off. I hope this is going to be kind of a time saver, a labor saver, a back saver, some kind of saver, or maybe all those kind of savers. My current shop isn't really big enough for a pallet jack. That's why I've never bought one before. But I saw this one come up on Facebook Marketplace for a pretty cheap price. And it looked mainly dirty in the pictures. Didn't look that abused. Okay, let me get the camera and I'll bring you around this some more, give you another view of it. Maybe you guys can give me an idea of what might be missing or broken up here. We'll go from there. Okay, looking at it from the side here, you can see it's not in too bad a shape. Doesn't look like the forks are bent that way or skewed out this way. There's the reservoir that I was talking about. Sounds and feels like it's a reservoir, and it would make sense that it's connected to the side of the piston there. But you can see there's some screws here that have what looks like a broken off piece here, one on this side and one on this side. So I'm thinking maybe something came around here to kind of protect this. And that has already been bamboozled. But it doesn't look like anything's leaking here. This isn't rusty or scored or anything like that. And it all looks pretty clean here. It didn't look like the seller cleaned it up at all to put it up for sale. He had a very nice shop, by the way. He had a lot of nice, big, older machines. Probably from the 50s and earlier, I would say. I don't remember the names and all of them. There's a larger Clausing lathe there, I remember, and another big lathe, and a great big dual bandsaw, horizontal bandsaw, some great big old school machining center, machining mill. I probably should have asked him if I could have done a little filming in there, but I just wanted to get the jack and get gone because we had family coming over. So yeah, it's looking actually pretty good in there and all around. There's a bolt in there that looks with a castle nut on it, and that looks intact. As well as, you guys probably aren't going to be able to see it, but oh, there, you can see the nut a little bit. Nothing's loose. Nothing's falling apart, say. This rod right here looks a little bent. There's a chain connected. I've never had a pallet jack, never owned one, never had one apart. Like I said, I've used them a lot, but never had to actually tear into one. They always worked. 20 years that I used them in a manufacturing environment, they always worked. and we used them a lot. See, these wheels are got something stuck in them, some kind of, that's actually feels like steel wool or something, like something that's not supposed to be in there. Something over here feels more like a rope or something. I'll put the camera down and get that more cleaned up. The wheels do turn, but they don't, even with the cardboard away from there, they don't really spin real freely. Got a little better since I pulled that a little bit off of there. This one, get the cardboard off it there. Yeah, it should keep spinning, I would think. Spin better. Get this crud out of there. I'll get that stuff out of there and bring you back. Okay, so this is what I picked from around the wheels with this pick, Harbor Freight little pick. Didn't really use that pick. That's what I got from around there, some kind of cotton floor debris crap. I'm cleaning up this area over here with this better shape than those wheels over there. Those wheels are shorter, lower to the ground, closer to the debris and the floor. Some people, and I suspect that the seller of this, just didn't want to bother messing with it. Maybe it didn't serve his purpose. Maybe he picked it up recently, some package deal, and didn't foresee even using the thing. But I have it now, and I plan on putting it to good use. I know some of you have full-size pallet jacks and you move machines around and different shop equipment. I know some of you leave machines and shop equipment up on 4x4s. Some type of blocking so you can easily get your pallet jack underneath there, move it around. Some of you probably have to move machines around just to use them because you have a tight shop. Can't have them all positioned easily so you could use them in the position that they are in. You have to reposition them each time to get any work done. Work done that I plan on getting done is finishing moving my shop. And hopefully using this around the shop to move smaller items, maybe help to bring a machine in, get it under one end or something like that. We got an old lathe that has a pedestal on each end of the bed, one under the headstock, one under the tailstock end of it. Maybe one end would be on this pallet jack and the other end would be on the Big Joe, and scoot it around that way. Kind of like skates, machine skates, but just bigger item instead of the little machine skates that are very strong and made for that type of purpose. But I've seen machines flipped over from being on machine skates, so even something designed for the purpose sometimes isn't the best thing to use. Alright, I'll see if I can get this flipped over without dumping the fluid out of it or breaking anything or smashing any fingers. Okay, so we got this flipped on its side, or I should say I got this flipped on its side. Wasn't an easy matter by myself, but I wanted to get it up higher so it's easier to work on and easier to film for you guys to see what's going on. Again, this is one of these shorter fork pallet jacks. And it looks like what they do is they just cut down their existing ones and made short ones. So everything is welded up. It's welded up pretty nicely. All the sheet metal is welded up, and this is probably 1/8". Welded all across there, and then this mechanism that jacks the jack up makes these go down, makes the forks go up. That's all welded together and has a piece on each side. It's welded all the way around. The plates that they bridged over the gaps are welded. And then you just ground it smooth on the sides and across the top, the other side. Or maybe there wasn't much weld or any weld on the other side. Maybe they just welded across the bottom. And maybe that's why it's painted a different color. Who knows? But that's what's under there. These mechanisms both work off the pump when you're using the handle and pumping it up. These come down, raising the forks. These rollers are constructed with bearings, shielded bearings. A shielded bearing, if you don't know, they have a rubber shield around here. It doesn't allow dirt and crap to get in there. There are shielded bearings, which is just a metal shield, and dirt and debris can get in on those. But they do have shielded bearings in these roller assemblies, these small ones, and these large wheels over here underneath the jack. They're not bearings this big, of course. I just pulled this out because this is what I had. I didn't want to cut the package open because I want to use this for some machine down the road. And these are red seals here. These are black seals, so I'm going to clean up around there, each of the bearings a little bit. Probably spray some light oil in there, squirt some light oil in there, and call it good. These little wheels here are just little plastic rollers, and that's what you hear when you first slide it underneath the skid. You hear that clankety clank. That's these wheels right here making all that racket. There's not much I can do there. They are replaceable. They got a bolt in there with a lock nut. I guess if a guy wanted to put something better in there, I don't know what would be better. That's just to help it get over the bottom boards of the skid. And these are what do all the supporting once you start jacking it up. But this is if you don't have it located underneath the pallet in the right position. When you start jacking, these could, if they're on a bottom board, they'll start breaking, pushing that bottom board off. Or the top of the pallet gets lifted and off of the bottom board because the bottom boards are stuck under here. So when you use a pallet jack, you got to be careful of that. You get it in the right position, you slide it in there and feel. Make sure these aren't on one of the bottom boards, that it's against the floor before you start jacking it up. Okay, so I'll clean this up, probably flip it back over. Okay, so I have the undercarriage cleaned up as much as I'm gonna clean it up, and what I'm gonna oil is the pivot points, not the rollers, because the rollers are sealed. You're not gonna get any oil in there past the seal anyway. I'm just gonna oil these pivot points with some whey oil. It's like a gear oil. It's real sticky. It tends to stay put more than, you know, motor oil or lighter oil. So I'll oil those spots. Here, these little bolt peels. Pivot points. Anywhere there's a pivot point, even these little plastic roller things. Is it going to collect dirt more? Yeah, probably so, but you try to keep your floor clean so it doesn't pick up a lot of dirt. And that's the idea there. There's really nothing to do with that. This has got a big pivot point here. Everything is secure there. And what these are held on there with, this is just a roller assembly just like this, and these are held on there by just some snap rings. So if you get that snap ring off, this will slide off. You can change the bearings if you had a bearing go bad on you. These ones here, looks like there's a pin through there, a roll pin that holds the axle on. You can drive the axle out then once you remove the roll pins and replace those bearings, or the roller if you need to replace this red roller assembly. I'll probably scrub these up a little bit more. This one's got a little damage to it, just to the edge, nothing critical. Nothing's leaking out of the reservoir, a couple of drops, but I expected a lot more than that, tipping it on its side. Looking at these pivot points, there's just more roll pins holding things together. The spring under there, I'll get a little on the bottom of the spring. Where this chain goes through a rod here. Get a little on there. There's a roller that goes over the top of the mechanism that pumps the jack part. I'll get it flipped up and see if there's any more weird spots where I can get some oil in and some pivot points. Maybe I'll roll it 180 to get the other side of these spots here. And then inside the handle where you squeeze the trigger or whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'll get some oil in there to make that last a little longer. Okay, when I was in the process of flipping at 180, quiet you guys, I just flipped at 90 and I saw that I had much better access to these pivot points here, which is the load bearing pivot points. That's what does the major lifting. Hey, knock it off. That's what does the major lifting in the pallet jack. So I'm glad I was able to get those lubed up good. I'll clean the rollers and get to the handle here. Okay, so here we are underneath. These are the larger wheels underneath the jack and the handle. I clean them up with some degreaser, that 505 degreaser, and a Scotch-Brite pad. A lot of dirt impregnated in there. I'm not going to worry about getting all that out. But I want to get these larger metal chips out. Here's some smaller ones here. Let's see if I can pop those out. Yeah, that one came out. That one came out. So this doesn't look like it's seen a lot of use around where there's chips on the floor anyway. Otherwise, these would be packed with them, because I've seen them packed with them on other units. All right. Worked. Oh, that was a big one. Looks like there was a nail or something there at one time. But yeah, this will hold you up a little bit, these larger ones that are stuck in there. I know a lot of guys like these type of wheels because if it was a steel wheel, that it would literally get stuck when it would hit little debris like that on the floor. But I like steel wheels. I like sweeping an area before I come through, moving something. I like the floors to be kept clean. But to each his own. This will still work for me. Use these outside in the driveway or something like that when you're moving things around to paint them. Small pallets of machine parts around to paint them. That'll come in handy for that. So there we are, the pallet jack acquisition. Shorty pallet jack acquisition. Clean up, little maintenance on it. I don't have an owner's manual with maintenance that's supposed to be done on these. I'm just using common sense in what I'm doing. But this should last me probably my lifetime. Right, Bella? Okay, well that's it for now from that old shop. My name's Mike Scott. This is Magnum. This is Bella. Thanks for watching.